The temporary altered memory is a fancy word for stitches that have been changed. So for example, a stitch length that is made longer, that when you go to another stitch and come back to the stitch you changed, it's right where you left it. Now this is a feature that has been on Bernina computerized machines since they started making them. That has been a long range of machines. And I always remembered, why don't other machines have this? Well, some have it more these days, not all of them. But boy, you sit down to a Bernina, you get the stitch length, the needle position, and you get everything just right. And then you have to go to another stitch, okay? And then you come back and it's not right where you left it. Well, on these machines, it is. Now, I said it's temporary because these settings will go back to normal when you turn the machine off. So then they will reset when you turn it off and turn it back on. Now you can save these settings. So let's say you're always changing the straight stitch to a needle position at the far right and you're always using a really long stitch length. You can use the personal program to actually save that setting. And you can save more than one version of that. And we'll show you that in the personal program video in detail. But even just while I'm sewing, there's so many times where I'll just definitely be I get the straight stitch just right, and maybe I fine-tune the zigzag, and it's just the right satin stitch length and width for the type of thread I'm using, and then I'm using an overlock stitch, and I get that just right, and I'm sewing all day. These settings, unless I clear them, are always going to be right where I left them. So if you're a mom, you know what that's like. It's like, I just put this here. It should be right where I left it, right? So if the kids haven't touched it, that's what we're talking about. Now, the other nice thing is that when you need to clear something, when you push this clear button, it will only clear the settings for the stitch you're on. So watch this. So right now, let's see, I made it wider on stitch 3, the overlock stitch. So if I push clear, that clears out anything that I've done, width, length, or anything in the information area that might have turned yellow. All will clear with just a touch of a button. But if I go back to my zigzag, see how that's left right where I left it? It's only per stitch that the clear will clear the settings. So like in here, it has a note for needle position. So if I've changed the tension, for example, and maybe I mirror imaged it a couple times, it will remember those settings even as I go from stitch to stitch. And then there they all are, but if I push clear, everybody on that one stitch is all cleared out. But guess what, the one that we haven't cleared yet? That zigzag still left right where I left it. Now again, if you want to learn how to set these so you can retain them after you turn the machine off, follow the tutorial for the personal program, which is this area with the little heart with the smiley face.